Continuing our reading in Ereth's Birthday by Avi, today is chapter 3 and it's called Marty the Fisher. As Ereth rushed on, he passed beneath a particularly large oak tree. So quickly did he move by it, he had no notion that two dark eyes were looking down at him. The eyes belonged to Marty the Fisher. About 3 feet in length and more than a foot tall, Marty the Fisher had short brown fur and small round eyes, almost blank of emotion. His legs were stubby but powerful. With his sharp claws he could climb trees and leap about branches as nimbly as a squirrel. On the ground he was just as agile. The only thing Marty feared was humans, with reason. Human hunters, attracted by the Fisher's glossy brown fur, had all but exterminated his family. Marty was the only one left, a fact that filled him with enormous rage. Even so, he kept to a stern, self-imposed rule: never, ever tangle with humans. They were far too dangerous. Though he killed birds, even ate their eggs, what Marty liked to hunt were other four-legged creatures like mice, rats, rabbits, and squirrels. Marty chose his victims with care, stalking them silently and patiently, wanting to be certain he could overwhelm them with the savagery of a single attack. Once he chose his prey, Marty pursued it for however long it took to bring the creature down. It could be hours, it could be days or weeks. The most patient of hunters, Marty loved nothing more than to devise clever strategies to fool his victims, luring them into places where he could surprise them and they would be defenseless. Those whom he assaulted barely had time to know what hit them. To further ensure his success, Marty traveled alone, keeping to trees, rocks, and leaves where his dark fur blended in. Such tactics made him almost invisible. Indeed, Marty was rarely seen until it was too late. Though he never bragged about it, never gloated, never even smiled, in fact, had almost nothing to do with any other creature, Marty's solitary tactics almost always worked. Hardly a wonder that Marty gained the reputation for being the most patient hunter in all of Dimwood Forest. Indeed, he rather liked to consider himself death on 4 paws. Of all the forest and woodland animals Marty hunted, it was porcupines he enjoyed hunting the most. It was not that porcupines had injured Marty in any way. They did not insult him. They did not compete for food or space. No, it was their vanity that infuriated Marty the Fisher. Porcupines believed that no one could interfere with their lives, that they could do whatever they wanted. How dare any creature think itself immune from Marty's anger? What's more, Marty had found a way to successfully attack porcupines. By careful observation, he had discovered that porcupines had no quills on their bellies. The belly was the porcupine's most vulnerable spot. If Marty picked his moment with care, moved with complete surprise, a porcupine could be successfully attacked from below. Thus it was that whenever Marty came upon a porcupine, he liked nothing better than to hunt it down and kill it. Hardly a wonder that, when Marty the Fisher looked down from his perch in the old oak tree and saw old Ereth lumbering along beneath him, he became very excited. "Ah," he whispered to himself, it's Ereth. If ever there was a self-centered porcupine, he's the worst. Look at the way he's waddling along, not a worry in the world, acting as if he could live forever. Well, I'll teach him a thing or two." From that moment, Marty the Fisher began to stalk Ereth. And that's the end of chapter 3.